Why we have to learn S3? So now this is a very important topic in AWS. One of the biggest portion of AWS work around S3. This was one of the first services which was launched by Amazon in 2005 and 6 when the Amazon was live. So what is S3? So as I said, what are the different components of computer when you are working on any system? What is the major part which we have to consider? Is the storage. What you will do without the storage? Can you run a system? Can you run an OS? Everybody know what is OS, operating system? Which operating system you are using? Do you know what is mean by operating system? Yes, no. Operating system is the system which is installed on your computer, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Android. These are the OS which are installed on your different devices. So install means, are you running the OS directly or you require some storage to run your Windows OS? So your OS is installed on your hard disk. So before your OS starts, you require to store the files of OS. So storage is the basic thing. Agree? Is one of the things which is required for the computer. Without storage, you can't run the OS. So S3 is a storage service in cloud, just like Google Drive. Now, what are the things we are going to learn about in S3? S3 data consistency, data storage, cross-region application, asset transfer, exploration, points to remember. So what S3 means? S3 means simple storage service. Okay. So you can store your data on S3. The full form is simple storage services. Amazon S3 is an object-based service that offer industry leading scalability, data availability, security, and the performance. So what are the features of S3? It's a scalable, always data is available for you, high level of security and the performance. So I will ask you a question. How many of you are using Google Drive and how long are you been using it? कितने टाइम से Google Drive यूज कर रहे हो? प्लीज बोलिए यार, इंटरेक्टिव रखिए. Pankaj, Anjali, I can see Swati. Am I audible? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
So are we using Google Drive? Are you using Google Drive?
No, sir.
यूज नहीं किया कभी Google Drive?
Uh, so actually जब मैं जॉब कर रही थी तब यूज़ कर रही थी बट
पर्सनल
डेली
लेवल,
बेसिस पे नहीं. नो.
पर्सनल लेवल पे भी कभी यूज नहीं किया कि कोई डॉक्यूमेंट
नो
वगैरह
सर.
रखे? ओके.
नो सर.
तो पता है ना Google Drive क्या होता
यस सर, यस पता है.
है? So how long been using Google Drive means कोई ऐसा है जो 5-6 साल से यूज कर रहा है एटलीस्ट?
Yes, sir. 3 years now.
Yeah.
So मेरे को ऑलमोस्ट कॉलेज टाइम से like more than 10 years I'm using Google Drive. So have you seen any case कि आपने कोई अपलोड करी है फाइल और वो फाइल करप्ट हो गई हो या फाइल वो डिलीट हो गई हो ऑटोमेटिकली? कभी ऐसा ऑब्जर्व किया आपने? या करप्ट हो गई हो या कुछ भी फाइल में इश्यू आया, कभी आपने ऑब्जर्व किया है गूगल ड्राइव पे?
No.
So why that is, if they are providing your service and that service is not optimized and that is not available or scalable or high performance, you will use that service or no? Are you going to use that service? So S3 is similar to Google Drive, where you can store your data. It is highly available, secure, and has a good performance. And it's an object storage. Now, what do you mean by object storage? So there are two types of storage generally. One is block storage and other is object storage. So I'll explain you the object storage. S3 provides developer and IT team with secure, durable, highly scalable object storage. Okay, it's easy to use with a simple web service interface, and it allows you to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. So Amazon S3 bucket, you can store unlimited amount of data. There is no upper limit. Even in Google Drive, you can store unlimited amount of data. A charge is associated to that, but there is no upper limit. Safe place to store your files. It's a object storage. Data is spread across multiple devices and multiple facilities. We will talk about this in detail now. So what is object storage? So there are two types of storage. One is block storage and other is object storage. So in your local system, you know hard disk which you are using. The hard disk which we are using are block storage. Why it is block storage? You can see that this is a hard disk and there are small sectors are created, and inside that a small pieces, a chunk of blocks are created, and the data is stored on that block in the size of uh, starting with 1 KB, 8 KB, 64 KB. So blocks are created of a size of 8 KBs of size, means 8 KB का एक block होता है, कई जगह 64 KB का एक block होता है. And the data is stored in that blocks on your physical hard disk in your local laptops. Is it clear what is block storage? In the block storage, the data in the block storage, we can install the application. What do you mean by installing the application? We can install the OS, we can run the application. So right now, everybody has laptop and everybody has a hard disk in your local system. On that, you have installed the Windows, you have installed your OS, you have installed the applications like Microsoft Office, VLC Player, Chrome, any application which you have installed on top of your OS. So that files are stored somewhere, right? And you're loading that files, you're loading that particular application. So that application is loaded from block storage. Okay. But S3 is the object storage. Okay. So this is again about block storage. Data is typically stored on the devices. So you can check it out. Now about S3. S3 is a block storage. You can't, sorry, S3 is an object storage. You can't install any application. You can't install any software on this object storage. Okay. Why? In Google Drive, can you run your application in Google Drive? Can you install any operating system on Google Drive? Why we can't install any operating system on on S3 or any Google Drive? So to work your OS, to work the OS seamlessly, it required all the files to be stored on a single device. आपका जो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चल रहा है, आपने देखा होगा कि ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जो चलता है तो वो कंटिन्यूअसली रीड राइट करता रहता है आपके हार्ड डिस्क से. You can see right now, I'm not doing anything, still there is some read and write operation is going on. Agree? And apart from this, your all the files for that particular application for particular OS need to be stored on a single place, single device. ये चीज समझ आ रहा है जो मैं कह रहा हूँ? यस और नो? तो अज्यूम कीजिए आपके ओएस के अंदर 1000 फाइल्स है, आपका जो ओएस बना है वो 1000 फाइल से है, तो वो 1000 की 1000 की फाइल 1000 की 1000 फाइल इसी जगह पे स्टोर होगी, एक ही हार्ड डिस्क पे। बट if you're working on S3, if you're working on any cloud service storage device, just like S3, Google Drive, okay, so the date, all the files are stored in different machines. अगर आपने 50 फाइल अपलोड करी है, if you have uploaded 50 files, all the files will be in different storage. So 5 files can be stored in this device, 5 file will be stored in this device, 10 file will be stored in this device, remaining 5 20-30 files can store in this device. It's not fixed, all are randomly placed in different units. So will your operating system will able to run in this fashion? Will any application will able to load if all the files are distributed in different devices? Yes or no? So it can't load that. So S3 is the object storage. All the data are stored in different devices. Okay. And we can't run or install any application or any OS on S3 bucket. It is used to store the data, just like Google Drive. It's complete storage, but it is not designed to run an application, run an OS on top of this storage service. It is object storage because the files are distributed in different services, different devices, and you will get an file path and file name to point out in which device that they are installed, something like that. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes.
किसी को कुछ समझ नहीं आता बताइए. So S3 is a object based object storage. It's not a block storage. Again, I'm repeating, it's not a block storage. If it's a block storage, we can install the operating system, we can install the application. So in every hard disk, physical hard disk which we have is a block storage. And all the application files are in a single place. All the OS files are in single place. But when we are uploading the data on S3, the data is spread across multiple devices, multiple facilities. So you can see that is been written. A single file size can start with 0 byte and can go up to 5 TB. So this is a single file size. So single file size maximum it can store of up to 5 TB. But if you're uploading multiple files, there is no upper limit for the total size of your data. If you are uploading 100 files of 10, if you're uploading 100 file of 1 GB, so it's 100 GB. If you're uploading 100 file of 1 TB, it will go up to 1 TB. Okay, but the single file size can go up to 5 TB. Single file, no upper limit. It's limited storage. File are stored in bucket similar to drives. So in your local system, we have C drive, D drive, E drive. Similarly in S3, we have buckets. We have buckets. They are similar to drives in your local system. So we just like in your local, you are creating C drive, D drive. In AWS S3, we are going to create buckets, and inside that bucket, you can store as much amount of data as you want. It's a chargeable service, but when you are in free tier, 5 GB of data is free every month. So 5 GB of data is free in free tier every month. After that, you will be getting charged. But S3 is a very cheap service. The charges of S3 is very cheap as compared to any other services. Any question here? Now we have to learn about the namespace of S3. So S3 bucket should have a unique name across all the accounts. So S3 has a universal namespace. Why it require a unique name? So not just your account, just like username, it should be unique in a given platform. S3 bucket name should be unique across all the accounts. Okay, so I will explain you why it is important to have a unique name. As we learn more in S3, you will understand that. So this is the one of the example of S3 URLs which we are going to learn. Okay. So when we are uploading any file in S3 bucket, we will get an access code of 200 for successfully uploading any file. So how many of you are comfortable with HTTP protocol? Anybody knows HTTP protocol? Yes or no? Have you worked on HTTP protocol? No? Okay, let me explain. So it is a protocol, it is a language in which a computers are talking. So right now I am talking with you. So hi, hello, how are you? We are talking. If you and I'm sending that information, I'm sending that request to a you different person. So if you are able to understand, so you will say hi, I'm good, and you will respond back. Yes or no? That is how the communication works. If I speak in different language, if I'm speaking Spanish or if I'm speaking in French, will you will receive that message, but will you able to understand that message? In the first case, when you understand the message, you receive that message, you process it, and you say that okay, I understood the message, you acknowledge the message, and after that you send a different message to back. First thing is what? You are receiving the message, acknowledging that, and you are sending the new message. Agree? But if I'm saying, let's say if I'm speaking French, so you're going to receive the message, but if you don't understand Spanish language, or you're not able to understand French language, so you will acknowledge that you received the message, but you will say that I don't understand that. Can you speak in English? Can you speak in Hindi? So it's like that I'm receiving the message, but I'm not able to process it. I'm not able to understand it. So I will say that, okay, error, not understand. Please try different language. This is the way how we communicate, humans communicate with each other. Yes or no? So similar way, computers are communicating with each other. So we require some protocol on which the computer should communicate with each other. So we have created a language, a protocol. It is a HTTP protocol, hypertext protocol. You might have heard this thing. You're using this on every when you're using Chrome or any other browser, you're using it on a daily basis. So what is happening here? So computer, which understand binary language, will send a signal, will send a request to different computer. If that computer understand, what he will do, what that computer will do, he will say, okay, I understood your message. So it will send a status code as 200. जैसे यहाँ पे अगर आप समझते हो तो आप मुंडी हिलाते हैं ना हम लोग. अगर मैं आपसे कुछ कह रहा हूँ, अगर रियल में बात कर रहा था तो आप क्या करोगे? फेस को यस करोगे, नो करोगे, राइट? तो दिस व्हाट डज दैट मीन? यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट, यू आर गिविंग अ सिग्नल, यू आर गिविंग अ कोड. you are unable to understand it. Similarly, जब कंप्यूटर एक दूसरे से कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, तो यहाँ से इसने सिग्नल भेजा, यहाँ पे इसने एक कुछ मैसेज भेजा, एक रिक्वेस्ट भेजी, तो अगर इस कंप्यूटर को मैसेज समझ आया, if that computer is able to understand that message, so what it will do, it will return back a status code either for success. So we have created in HTTP protocol, there are n number of status code. Okay, status code 200 means successfully received. If this computer is not able to understand in a language, it will send 300 to 400 status code. Different status codes are available. So for success, there are status code 200 to 300. So different status codes are there, so that the sender will able to understand that is the receiver is able to receive the message. After the receiver receives the message, it is written back a status code for success or failure. According to the status code received by the sender, the next message will be delivered. ये चीज समझ आया? तो जब भी कंप्यूटर कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, तो एक सेंड करता है, दूसरा रिसीव करता है और वो एक्नॉलेज करता है. तो एक्नॉलेज करने पे हम लोग स्टेटस कोड बोलते हैं कि हमने को डिफाइन किया है. अब इसको समझ थोड़ी आता कि 200 क्या है, सक्सेस क्या है, फेल क्या है. सक्सेस में भी बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं, पार्शियल सक्सेस, 100% सक्सेस. ठीक है, सो हमने रेंज लिखी हुई है. तो जब ये प्रोटोकॉल डिफाइन किया, तो 200 से लेकर 300 तक में रेंज डिफाइन करी है. अगर 210 डाला, तो अज्यूम करो उसने बोला मुझे आधा चीज समझ आई है. ठीक है, तो वो चीज सेंडर को बताएगा वापिस कि 210 भेजा, रिटर्न किया इसने, मतलब उसको आधी चीज समझ आई है. ये चीज समझ आया हाउ एचटीटीपी प्रोटोकॉल वर्क्स? यस और नो?
Yes, sir, understood.
तो आपने ये सुना होगा गेट मेथड, पोस्ट मेथड,
Yes, sir.
पुट मेथड. देख ये सुना है? दिस आर द मेथड्स व्हिच आर यूज्ड इन एचटीटीपी. पुट और पोस्ट क्या है? डेटा सिग्नल मैसेज सेंड करने के लिए, डेटा अपलोड करने के लिए, या एक कंप्यूटर से दूसरे कंप्यूटर का डेटा पुश कर रहे हो, अपलोड कर रहे हो, तो पुट और पोस्ट मेथड यूज करते हैं. अगेन दिस इज अ प्रोटोकॉल इन एचटीटीपी. ओके, अगर हमको कुछ सर्वर से कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, सामने वाले से चाहिए, तो हम लोग गेट मेथड यूज करते हैं. जब भी हम डाउनलोड करते हैं ना कोई भी चीज, when we are downloading anything from the server, from the website, behind the scene get method is used. So do read about HTTP protocol के बारे में थोड़ा पढ़ना आज. So it will helpful for you to understand further classes. Okay, now what I'm saying, when we are uploading any file in S3 bucket, whenever we are uploading any file in S3 bucket, so what will happen, this computer will send the message, send the information. So it will be post or put method in HTTP protocol. So it is trying to send the message, upload the information to the server, and if servers now upload the document successfully, you will get a success code 200. अगर 200 सक्सेस कोड नहीं मिल रहा है, मतलब आपका फाइल फेल हो गया है, अपलोड नहीं हो रहा है. So that is what this line indicates. When we upload any file to S3 bucket, a status code 200 is generated if its file is uploaded successfully.
Sir, it has to be file all the time. Can't we just send an XML or something like that?
Any type of file, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. That we are going. Here you can see S3. It has pure storage. You can store any type of files. It is written in some file type, any available. Any type of file you can upload. It doesn't matter. Second thing, you can't open any file in S3. You can't open any file in S3. You have to upload the file. File is there. If you want to open that file, you have to download back to your computer, or it required an operating system. To read a file, you require a software in your local system as well. If I'm not installed, let's go to C drive. Okay, so you can see this file is not able to recognize what is the file format. So if I double click, the system will say that it doesn't know the file, what type of file this is. Why? Because the application which understand this file is not installed on my operating system. Agree? But in S3 bucket, there is no operating system. It's a pure storage. To open a file, you require some software, you require some application. But in S3 bucket, there is no operating system. It's a pure storage. So you can install any type of file. It doesn't matter. Okay, you can upload any type of file. It doesn't matter. But you can't open that file. There are some features which we can use it to open the file, but remember in S3 it's a pure storage. Why we require S3? So if companies are migrating to cloud, if you have any companies moving to cloud, what is the primary thing he will move with? Data. Agree? Every company has the data, and the data need to be stored somewhere. So S3 is the place where we are going to store the data. So S3 is designed for 99.99 availability. So means you can access S3 bucket anytime, anywhere in the world if you have internet connectivity. So they say that if the data centers are crashing, still you will able to access the data. Its data is available for you. So there is two concepts. It's called availability and durability. What is the difference between availability and durability? What is remember availability and durability?
So durability means for the life of the storage, for how
Yeah.
long we can keep it. Available means uh, the availability of the space for which we want to store.
So in a very simple example, let's take example of Ola Tata car. Let's say कि ओला वाले टाटा कार चला रहे हैं आज की तारीख में. Example, इंडिका चलाते थे शायद पहले. Okay, the Ola service might be available in your area, might not be. There is a availability. अभी कैब अवेलेबल है, अभी कैब अवेलेबल नहीं है, डिपेंड करता है सिचुएशन पे. But the durability of the car means how long that car will be running. That's called durability. टाटा की सर्विस आपके एरिया में है नहीं है, that's the availability. But durability is how long that car will be running. Right? सोनी की टीवी हम वो परचेस करते थे. अगर सोनी आपके कंट्री में अवेलेबल है तभी तो आप सोनी की टीवी परचेस कर पाओगे. एंड व्हाट इज ड्यूरेबिलिटी? कि एक बार हमने परचेस कर लिया, हाउ लॉन्ग इट्स गोइंग टू वर्क. सो फर्स्ट इज अवेलेबिलिटी. सो S3 you can access the data anytime anywhere. It's always available. अगर मुझे कोई फाइल चाहिए तो वहां पे अवेलेबल होगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी अपलोड करा, एक हफ्ते बाद वो फाइल गायब हो गई. ओके, या मैं S3 को एक्सेस ही नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. दैट्स द अवेलेबिलिटी कि मैं S3 बकेट को एक्सेस ही नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. अब गूगल जीमेल है, आपका गूगल ड्राइव है, फेसबुक है. व्हेनेवर यू कनेक्ट टू इंटरनेट यू कैन एक्सेस दैट सर्विस कंटिन्यूअसली. कभी ऐसा हुआ कि गूगल या जीमेल को आप एक्सेस नहीं कर पा रहे हो? कभी भी इश्यू आया है? कभी भी परफॉर्मेंस का इश्यू आया आपको? नहीं आया होगा. बट इन द केस ऑफ डिफरेंट रेलवे वेबसाइट्स, गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट्स, दे आर वेरी स्लो. या कभी कभी तो सर्वर ही क्रैश हो जाता है. दैट्स द अवेलेबिलिटी. जब सर्वर क्रैश हो गया, if the server is not working, it's not off, will you able to access your service? So Amazon's quotes that S3 bucket is available 99.99 times. When that means whenever I require the data is available. Amazon guarantees 99.99 availability. It is designed for 99.99 availability. It is built for 99.99, and Amazon gives the guarantee that it is available 99.999. It is available 99.9. And it gives the guarantee of 99.9999911 durability. Means if the data is uploaded in S3 bucket, the data will be secure. It will not going to be corrupted. It is not going to be deleted. That's why I ask you, how many of you have used Google Drive and how long did you face any experience of corrupting the file, or the file is not available temporarily, or after a couple of refresh only the files is available. Sometimes the file is available, sometimes it's not. Or if it's available, did it got corrupted or not? So we have to understand this thing before working on AWS S3 bucket. So the file is always available. It guarantee that it is durable, means there will be no error in the file. For example, if you store 10 million object, okay, object means file in S3, 10 million means 1 crore files with 11 time durability. On an average, you are expected to incur a loss of a single object or file every 10,000 years. Means there is very rare chance that you will lose a file. Any file in S3 bucket is called as object. Whenever we upload a file in S3 bucket, we will any file in S3 bucket, we will call it as an object. We will refer that file as an object. Okay. From now onwards, if you find an object, word object in the throughout the PPT, that means file in S3 bucket. Okay. So in S3, we are naming or calling file as an object. So again, read the standard. If you store 10 million object within S3 with 11 times 9 availability, on average, you are expected to incur a loss of single object once every 10 years, 10,000 years. You can store any type of data, any type of file, as there is no restriction on the file format. If you want to upload XML, if you want to upload text, if you want to upload PPT, if you want to upload MP3 video file, any type of file it is, it will not, it doesn't matter. It's a storage. Lifecycle management. Every data has a life cycle. You can enable life cycle on S3 bucket. We'll see that in detail. So what is my life cycle? In general, just like human has a life cycle, take birth. From birth, it is a child age, then teenage, then mid age, then old age, and then die. Similar type of same thing happens with the data. So there are some data which are generated, which needs to be stored, move in different storage devices. When the data is used, if the data is not used, you are moving it to archives. If after 10 years you're not using the archive data, you are deleting the data. You have used the same technique in your local laptop. If you are in college, you might be using college documents. So that folder or that files you are having handy, but after 1 year you will start moving that data in your archives because you are not using that data. There are after 5 years, there might be files you see that they're not important. This data is not important. You might start deleting the data, right? So even data has a life cycle. Even files has a life cycle. So we can create custom life cycle. Then whenever the file is uploaded, how long that file should be available, how long the file should be given, have access. Do you want to archive that file? Even Amazon S3 has an archival system. We'll see that. Do you want to archive it or not? Okay, if after archiving for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, do you want to delete that data? So we can create a custom lifecycle rule for our data, which will be automatically managed by S3. We don't want to manage manually. Next is versioning. What is mean by versioning? Anybody? What is mean by version? So whenever we are creating the file, when you are working in college, Let's take example, when you are working on project in a college, you might have created a PPT, you might have created a Word document, and after creating the Word document, what you're doing, you are saving it. Now you find some, you update, after some time you update that document, but you want the previous file to be preserved. So what do? You do a save as and you give a different version, like version 1, version 2, version 3, or final 1, final 2, final 3, final pakka final, final ka final, final wala final, something like that. Have you done that? So what you are doing? You are preserving the previous version, previous file as well as the new file. किया कभी आप लोगों ने? यस नो, समझ आया जो मैंने कहा? फास्ट हो गया. So whenever you, every file has a versions. It can be same version, it can have multiple versions. So we can do a versioning on S3 bucket. Encryption. Every data need to be encrypted. What is my encryption? So we'll talk about more in detail encryption, but basically if you want to preserve your data and if the data is compromised, so whoever the person has hack your data can read your data and get the information out of that. So to preserve that, if even if you lose your data, somebody hacks your data, you need that your data should be protected. So that person will not able to understand what is written inside your file. So you can encrypt your data and keep it in the S3 bucket. That is also option is there. MFA delete, multi-factor authentication delete. So there are many companies who are storing sensitive data, or there are many companies who are storing important files on S3 bucket, and they want that nobody should delete that data. Nobody should delete that object or file. So there might be cases where somebody can delete that file accidentally. He might be deleting something else, and by mistake, that person has deleted the important files. So what you can do, you can lock that object and you can enable MFA. Means after that, if somebody is deleting that particular object or file, a second level of authentication is required. That if you are deleting this file, please enter the OTP. Please enter the 6-digit number. Then only that object will be deleted. You can enable that thing. Last, secure data using access control list and bucket policy. So we can get different policies for different users. So just like in your organization, there might be single bucket which will be accessed by every person in your organization. But there might be different folders. One folder is pointing to HR department, one folder is pointing to IT team, one folder is pointing to admin team. So we can create policy that HR user will only be able to access HR folder. IT person will able to access only IT folder in your S3 bucket. We can create different policy using IAM, even access control and bucket policies. We'll see that. At this given point of time, anybody had any question on S3?
No, sir.
So I will just show you how the S3 looks like. So this is the S3 console. You can see I have created different buckets, different similar to drive. So I can go in any bucket. Here is the file. You can see here's the file. We can upload any file in this bucket. Doesn't matter what is the format. Okay. You can upload the file. There are some properties. We'll see that one by one, and the file is uploaded. So we can't read the file. There are more properties. We will go in deep of each and every property of the bucket as well as object. So if you see the buckets, this is the list of buckets. Buckets are similar to drive. So C drive, D drive, E drive. We have to give name, a unique name to the buckets. After the bucket is created, you can upload the data in that bucket. And you can see it is written objects. So every file in the bucket are called object now. Okay. How S3 works, how data are stored in S3, what is the how availability zone and region are coming in the picture, we will see in detail. So how Amazon is making sure your data is always available and durable. We will have a detailed pictorial explanation on that. Okay. Any question? So I'm stopping right now here on